Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm gonna show you a second most used service of AWS, that is S3 bucket. So this has been in the market since a very long time, since decades, and this is the second most used AWS service. But this is the most, I would say, a vulnerable service that attackers find out and leverage things to do data breaches, to hack the services or accounts of a company or any individual. If you case study every attack or every breach that happened in the past 5 years, 10 years, most of them, like 90% of them, will include a data breach from a open S3 bucket, or a it will be related to S3 bucket in one way or some way. So in this video, I'm gonna be a little more security perspective wise. I'll tell you that how you can secure your AWS service S3 especially, and what is S3, how you can use it, how you can benefit it, and what the advantages of using S3. So let me introduce S3 first in brief. What is S3? You can see here every object in S3 is stored in a bucket. To upload files and folders to S3, you will need to create a bucket where the objects will be stored. Amazon S3 store and retrieve any amount of data from anywhere. So, what is Amazon S3? It is a service which helps you to store and retrieve any amount of data from anywhere at any point of time. You can store a picture, a video, a photograph, and audio, anything, and sensitive data, any file, anything you can store here, as long as you can put it here and retrieve from here. Now, there's a misconception about S3, like some people say and forget about it and say that it is a region based service. Some people know and say that it is a global service. And the correct answer is yes, it is a global service. Amazon S3 is a global service, but when you create a service, when you create a S3 bucket of your own, it resides in a region. So it has to be placed in a region, and that's where you specify a region. But the service is overall a global service. Now, S3 bucket is of different types. Some people use to store it for data, some people host a static website. Now you will be surprised like how I can host a static website on S3 bucket. Like it's just a storage based thing. No, it's not just a storage based thing. You can use it for many multi-purpose things, and I'll show you few things here. The static website thing, the hosting the static website thing, will be in the next video, so make sure to check it out. I am creating a video on that too, and how you can host a static website on Amazon S3 just by using a single service and not using anything else. So if you are very beginner, very new to AWS, this can be the best project that you can start with and get your hands on with AWS. So without wasting any further time, I've explained you what is Amazon S3. Let's create our first bucket. So when you'll create your first bucket, you'll see this kind of UI here, and if you don't have any bucket, you'll see this here. We'll create our first bucket. Now we'll just explore all the features one by one, all the options that it's asking one by one, and I'll explain you in brief. I won't go in depth because it will take a lot of time and it's a beginner friendly session, so I'll keep it very short. For bucket name, you have to choose a bucket name that is unique global wise, as it is very well written here, global namespace. So it has to be unique in the whole global namespace. There are like millions and billions of buckets already, so you have to select a unique bucket name. I'll select a name I think that no one has selected, Alienware bucket. Okay, and I'll just if you have already created a bucket, you can select the bucket settings from here, so it will be kind of template for you, and you can create a template from that bucket settings to this bucket settings. For the object ownership, now what is object ownership and what is object? Anything, any file that you store in S3, your bucket, it will be known as object, and this feature allows us to give ownership. So what is ACL? ACL is access control lists. Okay, so for ACL disabled, it is like you are recommending it and you are disabling ACL. You are not letting anyone access your objects, so you the sole owner of your objects. So if I am uploading anything, I am putting anything from my account, from this account to my S3 bucket, I am the only owner of that object. Nobody else could be the owner, nobody else could do anything else than I am. Okay, so I'll not create ACL enable. If I'll do it, it will ask me to create what are the ACL lists. So I'll create it disabled. Now, this is the most I would say important thing here. Block public access setting from this bucket. Now, why data breaches happen? Why companies get hacked? Why companies get exposed? Why their data gets stolen? All the things answers are here in the bucket policy. Now, if we block all public access, what does it mean? That nobody can access my S3 bucket. Nobody can access my S3 bucket except me, until and unless they have the signature that I have. and the signature will come from your account only. So until and unless an attacker or any individual, if they have your account, until and unless they don't have your account, they can't access anything from your bucket, any single thing from your bucket. Okay, so for now I'll just keep it block all public access, okay, to show you how it works. Okay, I'll not change anything. Bucket versioning, I'll be a very brief introduction about this. What is bucket versioning? I'll just give one example. If you are hosting a static website, suppose you have a HTML file and CSS file, a JavaScript file. Now you updated the CSS file on the bucket. Your website layout changed completely, but you saw that it doesn't look well, and you don't want that. You want the previous one. So instead of uploading it again, the previous one again, and you don't have the previous one now, you have deleted it from your host, and you don't have the previous one, you have only the new one, and you have the new one in the bucket as well. What you'll do now? Bucket versioning comes the place at that time, and it will allow you to roll back to the version before of that. So if you enable it, you will get versions of thing. So if suppose I am uploading a file ABC in one bucket, and I am uploading another ABC in the same bucket, so the next one, the newer one, the latter one, ABC file will be the next version of it. So the base version will remain there, it will just get versioned. So just I'll keep it disabled as of now, because we are not using anything like versioning. Don't need any versioning. For the tag, you can create any tag, it is optional. So I'm creating for, like this is my tag for, like which why this bucket for, what is this bucket for. So this is for my YouTube video. Okay, I am just creating this tag. You can ignore it properly, totally. And for encryption, we have three types of encryption types. We have server-side encryption with AWS S3 key. So what is AWS S3 key? It is S3 managed keys, but it is managed keys that is managed by S3 only. So S3 will manage it automatically. You don't have to do anything. The second one is AWS SSE server-side encryption with AWS KMS. What is KMS? KMS is another service that is provided by AWS that manages your keys. So you can put all the keys there, you can manage it from there, and as it is written here, you can create a KMS key, you can select any ARN that is already provided. And then there is a dual server side encryption with AWS key management service, and it is very advanced, so I won't cover it here. We'll just cover the SSE encryption, S3 encryption, because it is very basic and we don't need anything else. We'll just explore advanced settings, and it is very much clear by just reading the name of the advanced setting. It states that object lock. I already told you before what is object. Object is our files. Any data that we store in the bucket, it is our object. Now, what happens if we disable it? Nothing. If we create a bucket and we put objects in it and we delete it, nothing happens, right? But suppose you have a bucket with very sensitive data and you don't have it anywhere, don't have it backed up anywhere, you don't have any little bit of clue of it in any way or any other thing. And suppose someone came, suppose you by mistake only delete that file. You can't access it back, you can get it back. The versioning is off, you can't do anything with that. That's where the object lock comes in place. If you enable it, it will permanently allow objects in the bucket to be locked. Additional object lock configuration is required in the bucket details. What does it mean? That if you enable it and create a bucket and you put anything in your bucket, you won't be able to delete it, no matter what. So this is important when you are creating a very sensitive bucket and you don't want to lose your data in any case or in any human error, any human error. So we'll just keep it disabled because we don't have any much sensitive thing, and we'll just create our first bucket. And as soon as it completes, you'll have your first bucket created in your console here. As you can see, this is my first bucket. I don't have any other bucket. This is my general purpose bucket 1. And when I click on it and I'll open it, now I'll tell you what prefix is, what object is, what bucket name is. Okay, so first I'll create a folder to tell you and teach you things. So I'll just give it a name of prefix only. Okay, so I'll just give it a name of prefix to tell you very correctly. I'll just create a folder without changing any other settings, without changing any other thing, and I'll go into prefix. I'll upload a file here. I'll upload a photo pic here, and I'll tell you all the things that I'm gonna tell you before. So I'll just upload it here, and now I am here. So I'll click on my pic and it will open its settings, open its configurations, all the configurations. Now I'll zoom it for you, and as you can see here, now here alienware slash bucket dash bucket prefix dash slash feed.jpg. What are these? Our alienware sec bucket name is our bucket name. I have mentioned bucket to tell you for ease that this is our bucket name. all the things that comes after that, all the folders, no matter how recursive they are. Suppose I have prefix, then A folder, B folder in that, then C folder in B, then D folder in C. Suppose I have 10 recursive folders, and then I have the feed.jpg file. That jpeg file, that feed.jpg file is my object, nothing else is my object. No matter thousands of folders that I have, the object, that the file we are choosing, that the file we have in this, that is the only object we have. Rest everything that allows, that captures you to reach there to the file, that all the thing, that is the prefix. Okay, so suppose you have 10 folders, all the 10 folders location is called prefix, and your bucket name is here. Now I'll just open it here and I'll show you. Here you can access the bucket. Okay, very good. Now I can access the bucket. This is, if you remember, in the start we did it with publicly closed, so we didn't allow public to access it. Okay, we are here and we can see that we can access the pic, we can see the pic. Okay, here is the pic. Now if I can show you here, okay, so this can't be zoomed, but if you see here correctly, you have Amazon security token here. You have then next, if you go next, you'll see it is literally infinite numbers of lines, and then you have the Amazon signature. So what is that? That I previously told you, only you from your account can access this, because you have the signature, you have the token, and it is completely random. You can't brute force it, you can guess it, you can't copy it, because it will be different every time. Okay, so you can't do anything from that, and you just can't do anything because you have signatures and all. If I copy my object URL and I come here and I try to access it, so if suppose I am public, I don't have access to your account, I just got from some data breach, okay, some from anywhere, from your source code, from anywhere, I got to know that this is your S3 bucket and this is the file you have put. This is a very sensitive file. Okay, we have put password.txt here, and attacker got to know that okay, password.txt is in here, I have the complete URL, let's go, I have access to it. And if I click on it, no, it will directly, without even taking a further second, it will give me access denied. No matter what you do here, no matter whatever you try, it won't allow you to get access to it. Okay, so this is what security is in S3 bucket. You shouldn't allow any public access in your sensitive data, to your sensitive files, to anything that is sensitive or very important to you. You shouldn't allow it. Okay, now I'll just go into it and I'll show you. I'll just keep the URL here to let you guys know that I'm not doing anything changing here, and I'll just keep on refreshing it, and I'll just close and yeah, if you, I'll show you other thing. If you copy it, and I'll just open another browser for it, and I'll show you that if you copy the whole URL, because it has all the signatures, all the tokens that we need, and if you open it and paste it here, and you'll see that you can access it easily. You can access it with the token, with the signature, with the URL combined with it. Okay, but we don't want that. We want publicly access. We want to publicly access it. Now what can we do for that? We'll just go for our buckets. We'll click the bucket on here, we'll go to permissions, and here you can see block public access bucket settings. If you remember, we checked all the boxes and we blocked the public access. So now what we'll do the opposite. We'll uncheck all the boxes and we'll allow the public access. Okay, and as it is a security concern, it will ask you to confirm it, as they won't want you to know that you are doing it properly. So this is off, public access is off, and we don't have public access in it. Now I'll show you. If you refresh it, it won't allow you still. Why? Because Amazon AWS ask you to be very security sensitive, and for that they just don't give one thing and be like okay, that's done with security. They provide you with policies, with permissions, as you can know, as you know, IAM is there. So S3 bucket policy is there, other permissions are there. So even if you unchecked all the boxes, you allowed all the public accesses from your side of S3 bucket, you can't still access it publicly. Okay, you can't still access it. As I'm reloading it, you can see I'm not able to access it. It is access denied. But here if we see, we have unchecked all the boxes. We haven't checked any box yet, and it is completely block all public access is off. It means our public access is on. Now what we have to do, we have to create a bucket policy that will allow us to let publicly access. Okay, so how we can create it? I also don't know how to create a JSON policy. I guess most people don't know, but AWS provides you with many things here. Public policy generator. Okay, so we'll just go here, policy generator, and we'll create a policy. I'll go step by step and will guide you how to create a policy of basic thing. Okay, So here, if you'll see, SQS cube policy is selected, but I want to create a S3 bucket policy. I'll create a S3 bucket policy. I'll effect allow because I want to allow things. I don't want to deny things. I want public to access it. Now, for principal, I want everybody to access it. I don't want, okay, some part of people should access it. Okay, one person should access it. I want everybody, all the public should access it. So for that, I'll put star, okay, to publicly access it. As you can see here, for all it is star here. For actions, I don't want anything else than get object. I don't want anything else than the public to see what I have, to see or to read what I have in my object, to read my object basically. So this is called the least privilege policy. Okay, so I'm giving the least privilege policy. I'm using the least privilege policy. So I'll just go here, get, and I'll see where get object is, and if I'll go down here, you will see get object. I'm just giving one action to it, and that is get object. So I'm not allowing anything else than get object. Now for Amazon resource name, it is ARN. This is the resource ID of your AWS account. So I'll just go here, I'll just copy paste it. You'll get it from the console, you'll get it from the bucket where you have created the bucket. I'll show you. So here is your bucket. If you'll go in permissions, and on here, oh my bad, sorry, if you go on properties, you'll just get here in the first line, and you'll see here in the second place your ARN. I'll just come here, copy paste it, and for that I'll just put a slash and a star. Why I'm putting a slash and a star? Because the ARN is of our public bucket only, but I want public to access things of my bucket. I don't want just them to access my bucket. I want them to access all the thing that is in my bucket. So for that, I'm putting a slash and star, because no matter what we are putting in the bucket, no matter if it is an object, it is an object, if it is an prefix, it will create a slash. So slash and star will create all the things. It will create all the access. Now I'll just generate policy, copy all of it, close it, and just go back to my edit policy, and let me close all other things because it will create some time. And I'll just go here, paste it, and I'll just save changes. Okay, so it will save change, and if it shows any error, then you can check out here, match the policy if you have any different, and it is all done. Now this is our link with the signature one. Okay, I already showed you. If I refresh it, and this is disappeared. Why? That's what I told you. It keeps on changing. It is totally random. Okay, so it's not like if I have this link, it will not remain there for everywhere, every time. Okay, so I don't have access to it now. Now I'll just have access to it. The public link, public URL, which was showing access denied before. I tried unchecking all the block boxes, but it was still showing access denied. But now I have created a public policy which is allowing access to everyone to access everything, to get object from my S3 bucket and get everything from my bucket. Now hopefully if I refresh it, it will show us our image, and here you go, it shows our image. If you refresh it again, it will show you everything here. Now if you go here and just edit it again, and you, okay, so we just don't want to edit it, we just want to completely delete it. Okay, we just cancel here, and we'll just go here and delete the policy. Okay, I'll just click on delete and write delete here and delete the policy. And if you go here, refresh the page, and boom, you can't access it. So this is what I was willing to tell you, that you should create a public bucket, and you should know if you should publicize it or you should keep it private. And it is not that hard. You just have to, like, as you saw, making it public is more harder than making it private. So just keep in mind, if you have even a bit of sensitive data in your public, you shouldn't allow your public your bucket to be public for even a second, because there are bots, there are scripts that attackers can leverage it. Attackers can get run bots on your script, and they'll get access in 1 second, just 1 second, where you'll make it accessible. Okay, so this is all done from my perspective in this video. In the next video, I'm going to show you how to host a website on S3 bucket, and it will be very easy project, and I hope you guys will follow it and make your first project if you are a beginner. So for this bucket, I'll just go back, and we are cleaning up all the things. So for this, you should first go in your bucket, click on all the objects that you have, click on create, click on delete, and you should delete your objects. Okay, so for this, we are deleting it, and we'll delete the objects. Okay, the objects are deleted. Now we'll go to our S3 bucket again, and we can see here no objects are here, and we'll go to bucket and just would click on it and delete our bucket. Okay, so don't forget to delete your bucket, as it might Okay, my bucket is still not empty. Okay, if you get this error, you just have to click on there and empty the bucket. It will ask you to permanently delete it. Just click on permanently delete, write down here and empty the bucket. Then you'll be prompted here, exit it, and just click on it again and delete it. Okay, so this is done. Don't forget to delete your bucket because it might stay there without your knowledge, and just delete it. And as you can see, I don't have a bucket here. So this was the lecture on AWS S3 service, which is the second most service. Please comment down in the section if you need any other tutorial of any other service. The next video will definitely gonna be on the static website hosting on AWS S3. And thank you for tuning in. If you like the video, please don't forget to share, like it, and subscribe. Thank you.